Hello and welcome to the Clashing of Steel. So today I am playing the Vercingetorix and I'm being useless. Perhaps not totally useless, but useless on the count of my score. As usual, when there is nobody to defend the ranged units, I try to fill that spot. But when I'm playing something like Vercingetorix, it is not that easy. My whole goal is to be harasser, disruptor, annoyance for the enemy. But when I'm put into defensive role for the archers, I may suffer heavy casualties from the opposing archers, slingers or even artillery. I do try my best to hide in the forest, of course, because that is where I have the biggest chances of surviving an engagement. For a while I was actually hoping for the archers not to rush so heavily down the hill, because it is not comfortable for me to stay somewhere in the open area where I have to defend the archers. Compared to other infantry defending archers, I will most likely let a lot of troops through. I can't block out cavalry that well, and the only thing I have is the Scorched Earth. Of course Iron Discipline as well, but that isn't much of a melee defense upgrade. During this match I barely did anything. Blocking out this cavalry here was practically the only thing that gave me score. I did defend the archers. I'm guessing I got the minimal or near the non-support from that. At least their cavalry realized that this isn't a very smart move. These archers here have already suffered a lot. They have lost a unit, well practically they have lost 2 units. Since his only vision was to go offense, I switched my defense over to these archers here. I can't do much with players who have little understanding of what happens and why happens. Although I was still hoping for him to realize what he is doing, I switched my main focus over to, well, full health archers. I'm just defending them. I'm doing practically nothing. I'm just not getting any score, but thanks to that I will support my team towards the victory. As I often say, I fight for the victory and not for the scoreboard. So this is one of those few examples where I truly defend archers, and in the end I pretty much get nothing. But at least we got the victory. The bad thing about this is that we have enough melee infantries to actually cover the archers. But no one was doing it except for me. And barbarian infantry, of course, shouldn't be the first choice. But here I did use my infantry to scout for the archers and the light artillery, so they weakened opponents enough for me to have a viable chance against remnants. And well, those remnants aren't much of a score boost. For me, it is painful to watch how I have to defend the archers. There is no one else being actively around them, and there is no one else showing any initiative to defend them. Here comes one of those moments where archers really needed defense, and I was here. Usually when I defend archers, I don't end up with this low score as I did in this match. But these archers are what actually buy us the victory. Even now you can see that we are outnumbered. Opponents have slightly more troops, they have more units, their archers are smart. Perhaps not smart, but definitely smarter than some of our archers. But that does not mean that their whole team is very tactical and smart. They may have gone after our catapults, but by doing so they have left themselves exposed from all sides, trying to force themselves into our base. And also the awareness and focus of the archers. And because of that, they are an easy target for us to handle. Their focus is to destroy the catapults. But cavalry was already there, and by doing so and not switching their focus, they have left themselves exposed. Because I was able to keep away the cavalry that tried to engage us back there, I was able to buy us a second chance for the victory. Of course there's often a chance for the victory, but I just increased those chances by defending the archers. And because of that, the team balance hasn't shifted that heavily towards the opponents. So I'm being useless on the side of the personal score, but I'm being useful on the side of the victory. This is often how it is. You may get both, you may get one, or you may get none. After finishing these last spearmen here, and even perhaps part of the cavalry, our only option is to defend the base. Our archers have already lost in the forest, our swordsmen are pulling back, and we can't afford to make many mistakes. So for the last stand, I cover the rear, spears and pikes the front, remnants of archers and swordsmen stand in the swamp. And because we rely on our opponent's greed, we have the advantage. They could have just waited us out, they could have just stayed still at their base, defended themselves. But instead, they chose to go offensive. And that is how many winnable battles are lost, just because of the greed. And defending archers has bought us some form of ranged defense. Although fortunately I do manage to do a bit more damage here near the end, my total score at the end of this match will be around 700 to 900 points, which is practically nothing. During this match I have done nothing that would increase my score massively. I have done everything I see tactically correct. I know I do tell always to fight for the victory and not for the scoreboard. It can be painful, but it can then again be rewarding. So if anyone likes mindless killing, they can go straight in. Perhaps they will survive, or perhaps they will make a decent score. But at least I can say I gave everything I could to win this match. I may not be rewarded as much as Germanicus with Vengeance, but at least I helped my team members and made them a great game. Although I do mess up here slightly, I go in, I see they're turning around, and then I'm surprised that they turn back, which really surprised me. I wasn't expecting that. It isn't hard to trick good players, you just need to have a bit of imagination and a bit of balls, but I think this here was just a bit more luck. I still suggest fighting for the victory and not for the scoreboard. You may not get rewarded as well as you do if you would go fully offense, but you will get a better feeling in the end, and your teammates will be happy that they had someone reasonable to play with. And as you saw in the beginning of the battle, you don't need to go offense mindlessly and follow archers to their death. You just need to defend them at reasonable locations and at reasonable cost. As you saw my first archers who went mindlessly offense and died rather quickly. Just try to be aware of your surroundings, try to help your team members, and don't make unnecessary sacrifices. I do make them sometimes as well, but the less you do them, the more rewarded you will be. So if you can, keep an eye on the archers and don't go on suicide missions. Anyways, don't forget to subscribe and thanks for watching.